Cashflow Diary Podcast, episode 580.
Welcome to yet another exciting episode of the CashFlow Diary Podcast, the podcast that teaches you insider tips, tactics, and strategies for creating leverage streams of cash flow into your life. Learn from top-performing entrepreneurs, business owners, investors, and thought leaders from across the globe as they share their secrets to success. Like what you learn on this and other CashFlow Diary podcast episodes? Go to learninvestingnow.com and sign up to receive powerful tips and information that will help you succeed as an entrepreneur and investor. Now, here's your host, investor, entrepreneur, business owner, educator, speaker, author, and master facilitator of Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow game, Jay Massey.
Hey guys, how you doing? Hopefully things are going well for you guys today. I am, we're here. So that's good. That's good. And I see that people are already calling in. And when you do call in, if you want to have some questions, by all means, make sure that your background noise is as low as humanly possible. And when you're speaking to Megan, be nice, because she's the one that determines whether or not you get to talk to me. So don't get mad. Just be glad. Anyway, Megan, if you could do me a favor though, drop the number one more time because I don't have it. Yes, I forgot my own call-in number. That's awesome. Either way it goes, if this is the first time that you guys are here, welcome. 101st time, welcome as well. You can always call in. You can also, for those of you watching on YouTube or on Facebook in some place, but if you're not in our private student Facebook group, then yes, you can type in your chat room and it should be able to appear on my screen over here, or you can call in. That number is missing from my screen. 1 second. I see. What's funny is that there are people who have already called in, so they remember the number. They probably, I don't know if they have it saved or what. That would be funny. Like if we changed the number. That would be funny for me anyway. The call-in number, there it is, 417-352-2274, 417-352-2274. Feel free to give us a call all the way in, and then we will do our best to be able to bring you on live to where you and I can chat about whatever your questions as it relates to real estate business, short-term rentals, because that's kind of the thing, etc. And we will do our best to help you in any way that we possibly can. So with that being said, let's get to the first caller while we wait for the chat room to catch up with more information and things. I believe I am talking to April. April, are you there? Hey, April, how are you? April, hold on 1 second. You're coming in very, very low, and I don't know why. Oh, never mind. I know why, because I turned up the wrong thing. Let's try that again. April?
Hey, Jay.
There we go. Now I can hear you. Much better.
I have your number saved in program.
You do? I see. Well, maybe that's something I should do. Anyway, yes, that's good. That's good. So how's Detroit? I'm assuming it's cold.
It's cold. It's not too cold yet, so we're surviving.
All right. So share with me, if you will, what's going on now?
Yeah. So my question is, I'm just finalizing our things for our cleaners, and for the inventory checklist, my question is, how detailed do you get? Because I'm trying not to overwhelm the cleaners with everything they need to check to make sure it's still in the unit. And I know for the first few times, I'm going to go and check myself, but just to make sure that I know what I should be expecting of them, like, are you having your cleaners count the silverware? Like, are you getting that detailed, or are you just checking the major things? Are you what is your strategy for that checklist?
Yeah, no problem. And again, this makes perfect sense because this is unit number 1, 2, 3. I forget how many you guys are at. One. Okay, got it. Yes. So here's what my general rule of thumb. So yes, can you be as detailed as counting the silverware? Absolutely. Knock yourself out. However, we have been as detailed as what are we willing to file a claim for? So that's how we gauge it for that. So here's what another way of saying that is, if one spoon goes missing, are we actually going to file a claim for one spoon missing? The answer is no, because the manpower and hours it takes to file that claim and get paid on it and follow up on it and all that, it's not worth it. Therefore, on the inventory checklist, while we're not necessarily asking how many spoons, we are asking, are there enough spoons for relative to the number of people that we have stated that are going to be, that could be resident. So whatever maximum occupancy is. So for example, if we have a 1-bedroom maximum occupancy of 6, then it's more or less saying, are there at least 6 spoons present? If there are at least 6 spoons present, then we're good. So that typically doesn't take much to see. It's not something you have to really think about until suddenly there's not 6 spoons present. It'll be very, very obvious. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, because that prevents you from being overly nitpicky. Now, that is not to say if you are running a Nordstrom level high-end $10,000 a weekend or $10,000 a week area, you would have flatware to match, and that's a completely different situation. You might actually, in that situation, file a claim for a spoon because of the cost of your spoons. Does that also make sense?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. So just remember to keep it, if you keep it right there, like, would I file a claim for this? If the answer is no, then move on.
Perfect. Thank you. We got our first real booking tomorrow night. So we're
excited. Tomorrow?
Woo. Yeah.
Are you excited?
Yes, I'm going to be stocking my Vivint cams all day.
Yeah, I try to tell people. It's so funny. I tell people all the time. It's like, look, I know you're excited. Try not to stalk them, but you're going to because it's exciting. Because you're just like, oh my God, they're having fun. I remember one person said, they brought a watermelon. They went to the grocery store. I'm like, seriously? Like, that was the thing, you know? Like, okay, whatever makes you happy. And truth be told, when I first started, I used to, don't anymore, but I used to get so worried about them not arriving that it was hard for me to even go to sleep until everyone who said they were arrived or were supposed to arrive that day actually got there, or until we heard from them. It was hard for me to actually go to sleep. But I understand the excitement and cherish this moment, so to speak, kind of like you would a kid, because it will go away, and once it does, it's gone. It never comes back.
We will cherish this. And
I'm ready for it.
I've already lost a lot of sleep worrying about getting this booking, so we've got it, and so now I can sleep tonight.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Cool. Well, again, let us know if we can help in any way, and always, you don't always have to wait till Tuesday. Just put it in the Facebook group as well.
Cool. Thanks so much, Jay.
No problem.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Bye. Bye, guys. So that's how this works, ladies and gentlemen, is for those of you who want to, you can give us a call at 417-344-2274. Again, that's 417-344-2274. Megan will ask you a couple of questions and then put you through, and then you and I can chat about whatever those business, real estate, etc. needs might be. For those of you who are currently operating a short-term rental business, one of the things that I want to remind you of is that, at least for those of you who are operating in the U.S. or who are serving U.S. customers, because again, I know that some of you are outside of the U.S., or many of you anyway, there are a good number of holidays coming up here starting next week, and you want to be prepared for them, and you hopefully have already been prepared for them. And here's some of the things that I mean. Now is the time to make sure all of the batteries for any automatic door lock or anything that you might have going, do that now, right? Pilot lights. So if you have a gas heater or gas stove or something of that nature that requires gas and a pilot light, make sure that that's done now. In some places where it's extremely cold, you probably already have your blankets, but for those places like California where it gets suddenly cold, meaning 80, 90 degrees during the day, and then cold being 60, 50, I say that because I know some of you I just offended. Anyway, at night, then therefore make sure you have some blankets, right? We actually have to order those things. And specifically as it comes to your calendar, you probably, if you haven't already, check with your crew. Make sure that if they are going to work on a holiday or not, so that you're not stuck with a turnover on that day and you're like, wow, not how I intended on spending my holiday. And make sure you set your calendar appropriately. Make sure your pricing is appropriate on all of the platforms that you are on. Make sure that the house rules are strictly enforced, because yes, some people may think this is party time, but if you're using our complete system, you'll know how loud it is. You'll know how many times that door is opening. You'll know all the things you need to know to be able to say, stop it. And that's ultimately what you want to be able to do. So with that being said, I'm assuming there's a few questions in the chat room. And again, if anyone wants to call in, it's 417-344-2274. We really need to get these graphics fixed. Somebody's got, like, one of y'all just make some. We'll probably end up using them. Anyway, yep, there's one really long something now. So let's see what we've got. Robin is saying, long story short, we had a guest break the do not obstruct the camera rule. Yep, I love that. This is going to be fun, I'm sure. All right, so let's see what's going on. $200 fine, refused to pay. Yep. Airbnb stepped in and is paying it on his behalf. Interesting choice. When can we leave a bad review without him retaliating? Got it. How often has Airbnb had to pay fees on a guest's behalf? How is the guest punished for not paying the fee? Got it. Those are all okay. So there's a lot of stuff right there in that little one there, Robin. Okay. So let's address a couple of things. The biggest thing that I want to address is the retaliation concern. All right. There is on many of the platforms, there's what they have what is known as a content policy. Okay, there's a content policy. Airbnb, they have a content policy. So if for some reason the review that the guest, or you for that matter, leave violates the content policy, it can be removed. And by removed, what technically happens is that it is hidden. So the public won't be able to actually see it. And usually in those cases, the person who left the review will be able to see it. They'll be the only ones able to see it, along with the admin staff at whatever platform we're talking about. But the general public will not be able to see it. So that's the thing to consider. Now, if for some reason there is not a violation of the content policy and you feel it is retaliatory in some way, shape, or form, there's unfortunately, there's lots of gray area around, is it factual, is it accurate, and all this other stuff, because what the review is the guest interpretation of their experience with you. That is typically the defense that you'll hear. That, well, they're just stating what they feel they experienced with you. And I use the word feel intentionally because sometimes what they feel may not be factually accurate. For example, the guest could feel, I had to wait an exceptionally long time for them to even respond. And so that we're clear, this is something that I have received, okay? And understand, across the board, regardless of the message, we respond within 7 minutes, 24/7 a day. So 24/7, within 7 minutes or less. And I had to respond. I had to wait an exceptionally long time. Okay, so that's subjective, but that's their experience. So you have to absolutely own and just understand that is the case. That is the case. That's welcome to the business. Let me also address that, yes, there are times where the platform, specifically in this case, Airbnb, they can decide. I don't know what governs their decision and what freedom they have. They clearly have some money set aside for this because we've had that happen too, to where the guest refused to pay something and then Airbnb decided to step in and pay it. And I'm like, I don't know what caused them to do that this time, but it seems to be very arbitrary. I'm sure there's a rule system somewhere that is definitely not public knowledge. But yet it is something that they have done for us and before. And when it comes to leaving a bad review, so in this particular case, here's what you're really communicating. You're like, Jay, I know I'm anticipating they're going to leave a bad review. I would prefer that they not, but I still want to make sure that I can, say what I need to say. So first, you must understand when leaving a review, you won't be able to see what they wrote and they won't be able to see what you wrote until one of the two things happens. First, both of you have to review. If that does not happen, once 14 days after departure has occurred, then even if only one person has reviewed, then that review will be able to be seen, period. So with that being said, if you're using the softwares that we've suggested, you have a feature, and we did a video on this, I'm pretty sure. You have a feature on that allows you to leave a bad review at literally the last second. So you heard me say 14 days. One of the reasons I like to wait as long as humanly possible is because anytime you leave a review, that kicks off a automated sequence by the platform to where they start they say, hey, Robin has reviewed you. Do you want to see what she wrote? If so, make sure you review. Don't forget, Robin has reviewed you already. Please, if you want to see what and I don't want them to get those reminders. So we wait to the absolute last second and the software will take care of that. Therefore, literally publishing the review with 1 minute left. So it's at 13 days, 23 hours, and 59 minutes. That review then gets sent in automatically via the API over to Airbnb. So by the time they have received the notification that you have actually reviewed them, 14 days has passed, and computers are computers, which is great. Therefore, it makes it really easy for you to not encourage them to review. Now, if they've already reviewed you, it is what it is. And you're going to have to rely upon the content policy in order to get it straight. And finally, when it comes to what are you going to say, just do your best to remove the emotion. I know you spend a lot of time, a lot of effort. We go through a lot trying to do our best to serve as many individuals as we can. I know because you went through the Who Do You Want to Serve worksheet. You talked to your designers. You did a whole bunch of work. You have changed. You become a different person. And yet you're like, wow, really? Wow. I understand. But you still must remove that emotion and just do your best to state what happened, not how you felt about what happened, not what you think should happen to them, but what happened. The customer arrived, customer stayed, customer violated our policy. When we notified customer that they violated the policy, they stated that they were not willing to pay. Airbnb paid on customer's behalf. We do not recommend this guest in the future. Simple, right? You just state what happened, nothing more. And if you can keep it that clear, that easy, that short, good luck, and you'll be okay. But I understand exactly where you're coming from, Robin. It's one of those things that fortunately now our team does this so that I don't have to, because man, I get a little incensed over these things. And yeah, so I hear you though. But if you need any help with crafting or the words, and if you want some thoughts, a number of students inside the Facebook group have on more than one occasion posted here's what I'm thinking of saying, before they actually post it. So if you want to do that, by all means, do so. And we will do our best to again, help you remove the emotion. We can commiserate with you. We'll hug each other, and we totally get you. I understand how you're feeling. And yeah, you're like, it's not right. Airbnb shouldn't have to pay. They should pay. I'm with you 100%. So for now, be grateful that the $200 is coming. Keep it in your house rules because you did everything right. And move on to the next guest. That's honestly what I would tell you at this point. So, all right, looks like we have another caller coming in, and I see the questions continuing to pile, so we will get back to those. I believe I'm speaking to Jessica.
Hi, Jay.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well, Thank you for taking my call.
No problem. How can I help?
All right, so my question, so it's my first STR.
What?
And I decided to go with the 30 days in
okay.
LA, 30-day stays.
Okay.
We are, so the unit went live a week ago, and we had one inquiry, but no bookings yet. And so I'm kind of just nervous, like how long, because 30-day stays is a little bit different than, shorter stays. How long should I be anticipating to wait before getting my first booking? Yeah.
Got it. So that question, and to be clear, and for everyone else listening, is very relative to the customer that you are looking to serve. So let me first ask a couple of things. Are we talking like a 1-bedroom apartment? What type of customer are you after?
So business travelers and small families in a 2-bedroom apartment, two bedroom, 2 bath.
Oh, got it. Now I understand. All right. So everything is really, really clear. And how your proximity to, say, the downtown and or business area?
We are right in the heart of downtown. We have a 96 walk score.
All right. Perfect. And then and I'm going to say some language that we use right now, and I just want to make sure that we're on the same page. Have you calculated your cost, your break even, and what your preferred pricing needs to be according to the strategy taught in the course on pricing called NPP?
No, I have not.
Got it. All right. So there's a couple of things that are going through my head right now. One, business travelers in 2 bedrooms are a challenge because they're typically too large. That's number one. So if a business traveler in a 1-bedroom and a studio, completely different story. So for example, my 1-bedrooms my 1-bedrooms are fine. 2 bedrooms do see different levels of occupancy during the slower seasons. Okay. Especially when they are going to be the 30-day kind. So with that being said, some of the things that I would encourage you to consider that could assist you, that will definitely assist you. Let me ask you this. Is your unit pet friendly?
Like, are the guests able to bring pets themselves?
Correct.
No, they're not.
Okay. Again, my 2 bedrooms that are pet friendly don't have this problem. Keywords, hear what I said. 2 bedrooms that are pet friendly don't have this problem. Let me ask another question. Do you anywhere in your listing hint at, make mention of that you are looking for extended stay and or you're willing to work with insurance companies for insurance claims?
Nope, we don't have that there.
Got it. I'm saying those things because typically a 2-bedroom is the perfect situation for a family, a small family anyway, whose house has flooded during the remediation period. They still need a place to stay, and our 2 bedrooms, this is a major use case for that. Does that make sense?
Makes total sense.
So so ultimately, here's what I'm saying is that if I'm trying to serve a business traveler specifically in a downtown area, and again, there are other things to consider, but for the most part, if I'm trying to serve a business traveler in a downtown area, I'm not going to go larger than a 1-bedroom at all. I'm just not. And because, again, business travelers in 2 bedrooms can become problematic simply because they typically are last minute, especially out here in the LA area. They're last minute. They're by themselves. It's a salesperson. They're here quick and they're gone. There's not a group of them. They can't make use of all of the space is really what I'm getting at. So it's something to strongly just understand about the market and to consider. Additionally, if I am going to be working with a 2-bedroom, I'm going to slant it towards the things that I know where a 2-bedroom is going to excel. A 2-bedroom is going to excel. For example, well, let me ask this. How close are you to the LA Convention Center?
We are 0.4 or 0.5 miles away.
Okay, got it. So is the LA Convention Center mentioned at all in terms of your listing? Is that even there?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Yes.
So do you know have you pulled up a list of the upcoming things that are going to be happening?
Upcoming events.
What's that?
No.
Okay.
Sorry, like the upcoming events. No.
Yeah.
Haven't looked that up.
What I would be doing is that I would be looking at what some of those upcoming events are. And most importantly, what I would really, really be doing is looking for a way to communicate to the individuals who are coming for those events. Because my guess is individuals who are coming for those events are not coming by themselves, or they're coming in groups. They would like to share. And if they don't, again, you just got to do little things to help your location stick out to the person who's most likely to need the amount of square footage that you've acquired. That's really what I'm trying to say. And that
makes total sense.
And you just got to think a little bit more like, okay, so in module 1 of the mastermind group, there's towards the bottom of the who do you want to serve worksheet, make sure you've answered some of those questions, because if you have, then those are going to be the clues of where you may actually get your next guest from. Does that make sense? Especially for a 2-bedroom during what is our low season. And side note, just so you know, and this isn't going to make you feel good, but I'm just going to tell you straight. The 2 worst months out here are November and February.
Right.
With February being worse than November.
Which is what I was also thinking. I was wondering, okay, I know that November is one of those slower months.
Yeah.
But I just, 30 days stays everything is new, but 30 days stays even more so. So I was just wanting to hear what your thoughts were on that. And then when you talked about communicating with my customer about these upcoming events,
yes.
Now, where would I be writing that? Not in the actual listing title. But
why not? Whoa, why not? Why would you not put it in the title? Think about it. First of all, understand a couple of things.
Yeah, you want it to stand out.
Let's pretend that people are searching for a place to stay. Now, when you go searching for a place to stay, what search engine do you typically use? Like when you're searching for anything online?
Google.
Exactly. So what do you think might happen? What could at least give you a shot if you went looking for a place to stay and inside your title it was 2-bedroom apartment in Los Angeles near Convention Center?
Yeah, that makes sense. But
I try.
What I meant more so was like, if there was like a certain event, you wouldn't actually put near Convention Center makes sense. You wouldn't actually put like the name of the event.
Why not?
That is occurring.
Well, why not? Because it depends on what event we're talking about. So if I happen to be in Vegas and it was CES, yeah, I'm putting the name of the event there. Or I don't know when E3 is, but that's usually out here. Or if we were talking about the Comic-Con or Vid Summit. Vid Summit's a little smaller for what I was thinking. The other one, there's another video one that I can't remember right now, but that happens in LA. And yeah, I would absolutely put them there. Like 100%, because here's worst case scenario. Worst case scenario, you get booked, your listing still is showing up in search results, and now, well, you only have one listing, but if you had another listing, you got spillover to another place to go. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
Yes, these are all things. This is part of the active revenue management, calendar management, listing management. You are trying to attract, you are trying to bring the people who are already, you're looking for what you have. You're just trying to get in front of them. There's a stream of revenue, there's a stream of people, there's a stream of need that's right there. Your job is to get smart about who it is that you want to serve. What are they typing in the search engine? And until you've done that worksheet, it's really hard to guess. You're guessing, you're not really sure. And the only thing you know is you're getting views, but you're not getting reservations.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening, and I'm glad that you are enjoying what you are hearing thus far. But here's one of the things that's really important. One of the most important things that you can do is get started. One of the things that I've said before, and I say again, once you get started, stay started. But more importantly, there can be lots of roadblocks to getting started. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove one of those roadblocks for you and make it a little bit easier. Because the thing that I don't want to stop you is thinking, do I need a local number? How about a long distance number? Or should it be 800? How on earth am I going to make that happen so that people can contact me as I'm out there building my business, making my cash flow grow? But most importantly, understanding that it doesn't have to be difficult. Many of you may know, but if you don't, there's a company out there by the name of Grasshopper. And what I want you to do is I want you to go over to trygrasshopper.com/cashflowdiary. Grasshopper is the entrepreneur's phone system. It works like a traditional phone system, but requires no hardware to purchase, no software to install. It's just a number that flat works. So if you are out there building that distributed workforce across many different locations, it's a way for you to still go out there and make your number be unified, simple, easy to use, something we've been using for quite some time. So again, go over to trygrasshopper.com/cashflowdiary. Now, let's get back to the rest of the story.
Right. Okay.
And then
makes sense.
that's assuming you've got your pricing on straight, which I'm pretty sure you don't. I don't have to look at it to know that, but just based upon your answers of what you told me, it's really important that you get that on straight.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it looks like I just need to do more research on all of that. Thank you so much for helping me out with that.
No problem. It's what we do. It's what we do. Awesome individuals. I love it. Everyone watching. So this is how we do it. You call in. I answer your call or questions. I do my best to make sure that we do what we can to give you an answer. Again, this is whether you're a student or not. Obviously, our students' questions get prioritized because, well, they're our student. And what I'm going to do right now is pull up some of our student questions from the Facebook group. There we go. I got you guys right here. Oh, look at this. It says, hi, y'all. Hi. Oh, hi, all. Not hi, y'all. Huh. Megan. Oh, I already got that one. Susan, behind you have a live audience. Yes, I know. I figured, hey, it's been a while since they've made an appearance and you guys haven't seen them. They've grown, they changed because they're kids, right? They change like every 15 seconds. So it's like, hey, who knows? And Mike is asking, what did I say about being insurance friendly? So, Mike, specifically, here's what I'm referring to. We've started inside of our listing titles. Inside of our listing titles, we've started highlighting that we are insurance friendly. And here's what I will say. When we started this, we started with a brand new listing, and all I'm going to say is that listing has been booked solid from the moment we put it live. And we consistently are attracting longer reservations, longer than our normal 5.6 days to that particular reservation or that particular listing. I know, even in fact, right now I checked because it is actually booked till the 14th of December at this particular moment in time. So like 100% occupancy November. It came online in October, booked through the middle of December as of this exact moment, likely to continually be booked. And so that seems to be working in some way, shape, or form as we continue to try to develop relationships with them directly. So it's just something that I wanted to make sure that, especially for your 2 bedrooms, that you mention, because again, 2 bedrooms have worked out very well for us in that regard. All right. Let me see. Are there any more student questions before I go back to some of the? Whoops. The music is currently not playing because I'm about to take. You see that? That's a phone call. I'm about to talk to. Looks like Aaron. Since there are no more questions. Oh, hold on. There's one more. Yes, Megan, I see the call. Aaron, I'm coming to you in just a moment. It's Stuart says, regarding an arbitrage unit, studio 1-bed or 2-bed, are you protected by your lease if there's a change in ownership of the building you are leasing? And can they end the lease early if they choose to? Got it. So that's actually a really good question, Stuart. And it's one of the unique things about the business model that if you've done your lease correctly, that's why the way that we teach you is so important, because of an ownership change. If you've done your lease correctly, the answer to your question is no, they can't end it early. They cannot renew it, but they can't end it early, because when an owner buys a building, like when I buy a building or when you buy a building, you are typically taking it subject to any existing leases that are in force. So pay your rent, follow the terms, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If you've disclosed properly, if you have modified the lease properly, as we have instructed time and time again, then no, they can't end it early. All right, that's part of what they agreed to when they bought the darn thing. So just know that. Now, that doesn't guarantee that they will renew it, but they can't end it early. So hopefully that helps and makes sense. All right, let's get over to Aaron and let's see. Oops, what's going on? It looks like it says Austin, Texas. Aaron, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing, Jake?
So far so good.
Great. All right. Thanks for taking the call.
How is
I'm in
Texas?
Austin, yes.
No snow, right?
Oh boy, today we finally had a good 3 or 4 days of weather. It was kind of chilly for a little while, but compared to some of those guys in the north, we can't complain.
I know, right? Try not to get in trouble by saying things like chilly and cold and oh my God, it's freezing.
In November.
Right.
Yeah. Well, actually, I've been blowing through the blueprint and the mastermind course, and was hitting the ground running this weekend. But as I started investigating and looking into the regulations for Austin, it seems to be more restrictive than I had expected. And so I'm struggling trying to figure out which direction to take. You know, I had my customer I'm trying to serve all figured out, but then it looks like I may need to look into where this will work before I figure out the customer, and then build the customer around it. My first question is, with the places I've been looking, I can't get to the owners, and the owners are the ones that have to sign the applications for the short-term rental licensing. Right. And so perhaps I'm looking at something that's too big.
Yep.
So first, what side of unit? It has to be something bigger than a single family. It has to be multifamily of some sort. But what size do I need to target to be able to get moving again?
Okay, cool. Totally understood. And yeah, so for all of you out there, ordinances are everywhere, are beginning to be everywhere. Most of you won't have any. And I definitely appreciate you, Aaron, for following the system and looking up what needs to be looked up. I will say this. Always remember that part of the reason that we are all about short-term rentals is because ultimately we've also made another assumption. We're assuming that you want to own real estate long term. So phase 1 is getting 1 unit. Phase 2 is learning to get 2 or 10 or 20. And yes, we're going to lease them first for many reasons, but one of them being the fact of the higher ROI. And the experience component that you gain, so that when you get to phase 3, you're now in a situation in which you're able to purchase properties at your leisure, in any way, shape, or form you want. With that being said, I would start with the size buildings you intend on owning, period. So for me, for example, out here in California, because of the way the ratios and the pricing works, It's typically been anywhere from a 10 to 30 unit building, somewhere in that range. Now, in Austin,
Right.
Texas, I could probably get away with a little bit larger building because your cost per square foot, not only to build, but existing construction and cost per units are it's just a different number than what California is.
Yeah.
So I might be able to go a little
Agreed.
bit larger. However, I don't want to ever go larger than being able to get owner direct. Once I go past the owner direct, now we have a problem. We have a potential issue. And I don't want to introduce that additional component. I want to be able to pick up the phone and talk to the owner as much as humanly possible, or send an email or whatever. You get my point?
I do. Yeah.
And so
Okay,
if
that gives
you
me a
can't
good
do
idea.
that with the buildings you're looking at, then yes, you've gone too big.
Okay. Good advice. Will a real estate agent be able to help me track down these the type of units that I'm looking for? Or I don't really understand how a rental real estate agent gets paid. So what's in it for them to help me find something?
Oh, the answer is commission. I mean, so in general, would a real estate agent be able to assist? Technically, the answer is yes. Are they likely to understand everything that they need to understand in order to assist? No offense to the real estate agents watching right now. I can see a whole bunch of hate emojis coming across the screen, I'm sure. But the answer is still no, because they just haven't been trained yet. There isn't like a part of their continuing education, a course that teaches real estate agents. There isn't yet a course that's teaching real estate agents what short-term rental operators need. So that's a long way of saying you're going to be doing lots of training. You are straight up going to be training them on what to say and how to say it, because they don't have the language. Because they're going to start the conversation with, "Hey, Mister." In fact, if you get any of them to cooperate, you got to get past the fact of they're going to default straight to no one. This is literally what they say. No one does subleasing. I'm like, yeah, okay. And that's where we start. And it's like, one, we're not anyway, there's a whole conversation there. So if you can get one to be willing to go through the educational hurdle and process and understand exactly what's necessary, can it work? Yes. Have I done that? Yes. Was it a lot of work? Absolutely. Therefore, I don't necessarily recommend it to people as an acquisition strategy. That's not to say they can't at least point you in the right direction, especially if they know some landlords who are having some issues with vacancy, or if they know a landlord who is currently in the middle of a rehab in some way, shape, or form. That could be good, but I wouldn't want them necessarily talking on your behalf with this business model in mind. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Yeah.
It does. Thank you. And
Now, there are exceptions.
is there anyone?
There are some exceptions, and generally the exceptions that are licensed real estate people who understand this, they've been our student. So just
Right. I bet.
that's all I'm
Why
going to
wouldn't
say
it
on
be?
that.
Exactly.
So yeah,
Is there anybody that you know in any of your students that are working in Austin proper?
not yeah. The issue is Austin. I do know some that are in the group, but just I don't know one in Austin. But yes, we definitely have some that are in the group. They're just not in Austin, Texas. Now that's not to say that maybe someone like a Tyler or a Russell won't be able to communicate and speak that language that the realtor in Austin needs to hear. So maybe they can help you, if they're willing, they can help you in that way. But I don't know of one in Austin.
But any of your students, do you have any short-term rentals in Austin that you know of?
Oh, there's a ton of people in Austin. Yes. Yes. Yeah, Texas is one of those states where it's like it rivals the number of units that we have out here, or our students have in California, like Chicago, Texas, California, Florida, DC area. For whatever reason, those are the areas where most of the units that our students are operating, that's where they are at this moment in time. It's not like we've ever tried marketing or targeting those areas. That's just what has happened so far. Now, that's not to say that they aren't other places, but those are the ones that come up first.
Okay, I'd love to talk to, if you could point me to one or two of your students that are in this area, I would love to pick their brain.
So here's what I will do. I'm going to assume that someone in the Austin area is watching, or Texas for sure. Feel free to connect with Aaron, and y'all can talk amongst each other. But yeah, there's a number of them in the Texas, definitely in Dallas and Houston and anyway, San Antonio. There's a number. So the Texas is well represented, my friend, for sure.
Awesome. Great. It's good talking to you, and it's a great program you put together. So thanks for taking the call.
No problem.
Q&A time.
It's what we do. Let me get back to some more of these questions. You have a great day, Aaron. Talk to you soon. All right, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye. So let me see. Looking for student questions in the group, and then we'll get to some of the other ones. April says, how do I feel about clickbait photos? Like a picture of M&Ms per se to get people to click your listing, good or bad idea? Horrible idea. Horrible idea. Your feature image, just be a picture of M&Ms. Sorry, I'm going to try to calm down. April just, I just totally got triggered right there. When it comes to photos, this is something that I get a little animated about because it's so important. You're fighting, you are competing for the click, and you must understand that. So I promise you, when I'm looking for a place to stay, or when my wife is looking for a place to stay for us, she is not clicking the photo with M&Ms as the feature photo. She will click the photo that looks nice, that looks professional. She's well married to me, and unfortunately gets inundated with more photos. So she's seen what good photos look like, so she could tell the difference. I mean, it's clear. And this is what you must communicate. You must remember, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So you may want to say a lot of things. And sometimes you choose a picture with M&Ms up front. What that communicates, it doesn't communicate anything that I think you want your business or brand associated with. I'm just going to leave that there before I get on a soapbox or something. Anyway, if you guys want to call in, that number, that nabbit, that number 417-344-2274, 417-344-2274. Feel free to call on in. And I'm going to get to questions I have on the screen, it looks like now. I think I got all the student questions. Mike, thank you, Mike. Mike says the insurance thing is a gold nugget. Okay, cool. I don't promise gold nuggets, but hey, if that helps, then awesome. Aaron says, do you lock up your Wi-Fi router, or do you recommend to lock it up if you have your cameras and automatic lock that turn off an internet connection? Got it. So when it comes, I'm taking a stab at what I think you're asking, Aaron. So, and for those of you who aren't technical, kind of just ignore some of the things I'm about to say. So there, typically on every one of your internet routers, there is a configuration. There's a way to get to the configuration panel. And it usually involves an IP address, a username, and a password, etc. So what we do is we tend to take a photo of that panel, and then we'll mask it with, first I'll take a permanent black marker. Then on top of the permanent black marker, yes, I will add electrical tape, specifically because in the process of removing the electrical tape and or the black marker, they're likely to destroy the information. So if they even try to get to it, the information will have been destroyed, and I've prevented them from having access to it. So outside of that, could a good hacker probably figure it out? Yeah, absolutely. They absolutely could. But that's not exactly something we could prevent anyway from that particular standpoint. So hopefully that makes some sense. Susan, a course that teaches real estate agents how to be investor and short-term rental friendly. Yes, yeah, I think Susan picked up on the fact that that idea was running through my head as I was like, hey, wait a minute, that's interesting. Sarah said, I could almost see the light bulb go on over your head. Yes, you did see that. You saw that real time. You saw that real time. You saw that real time. Oh, man. Woo. Oh, okay. April is saying that she saw that saw that on other Airbnb Facebook groups, that the clickbait idea of M&Ms, and you wondered what would Jay think. Well, I think you knew. I think you just wanted me to say it out loud. So it's all good. It's all good. Oh, that's right. Some more of these questions up here. Let's see. Is there anything? What is this? Hold on. They're going so fast. Is there anything operationally different for the insurance guest? This is a demographic that I'm interested in. Yeah, well, yes and no. It's the operation, or at least the thing to understand for you, is that there's a little bit longer time, because typically what happens, well, it also depends. Well, no, not really. So sometimes the person who's affected, i.e. the insured, meaning the homeowner, is the one who contacts you first. And sometimes it's the adjuster or the company working on behalf of the insurance company that contacts you first. And ultimately, what it comes down to is whomever contacts you first, they always have to go back to the original insurance company to get some sort of an approval. Okay. And most of the time, all you got to do is fall within a certain range. And once you learn what that range is, you'll really understand why insurance work is very profitable. Okay. So from an operation standpoint, you're not going to get an instant book, so to speak. And from a communication standpoint, especially if the adjuster speaks to you first, what's going to happen is it can feel wonky at the beginning, because you're trying to work through an adjuster who's actually not going to be the one there. And if the adjuster is not the one there, there's two approvals. What they're going to do is they're going to call the actual insured and ask them. And once the insured says yes, then they have to go and talk to the insurance company. I say all that to say, it takes longer to close it. Okay. It just takes longer to close it. And there are way more questions, right? Specifically, or usually around parking for sure. And be prepared if you haven't, like, especially if you're using a 2-bedroom and you typically only give out one, say, key or key fob or access code or whatever it is that you're doing. Know that you likely are going to need to do multiples of those, because all individuals in the family are going to want their own access to and from. Additionally, depending on how your internet is set up, it's something that you're going to want to pay attention to, because it seems as though that the insurance people who know they're staying a while tend to do things like use a lot of data really fast. So it's something to note and to know. And you occasionally, I will say this, if you remember that, hey, this person is, yes, that I'm doing short-term rental business, but the real, think about what makes it convenient for them to stay. For example, I've closed business with insurance companies based upon one simple fact, that the washer and dryer is internal to the unit. So what does that mean? Yes, there can be a laundry room on site, especially in an apartment complex, but if it's our last unit that has a washer and dryer internal to the unit, I will make sure that I communicate that. Hey, this is the last one we have currently for the time window you're looking for that has a washer and dryer inside the unit. So if you don't want to, for the next 30, 40, 60 days, be walking back and forth to a coin-operated laundry, we strongly encourage you to go ahead and get the approvals and book this reservation now. And some cases, depending on the insurance company the adjuster's working for, they have a credit card where they can actually do that. So those are all things. There's just so many little things like that to be way more aware of, because the person is just sensitive to these things. They don't really care about recommendations to restaurants, because they live in the area, right? they know the traffic pattern. They know what's nearby. They just have a little bit different concerns, and you just need to be aware of that. And if you're really aware of that, especially in the initial communication process, then you should be fine. And almost all of them extend and stay for quite some time. That's why we like them. So anyway, we have another caller, looks like. Let's go and pick up I don't know who this is. Veronica. Got it. Let's do that. Veronica?
It's not even showing up.
Oh, hello?
Hello?
Veronica?
Yes.
Hi.
Yes.
This is Jay. How are you?
Hi, Jay. How are you?
I'm good. What's going on? Oh, hello? I totally lost Veronica. Oh, I see what happens. No. She's there. What happened is Megan was actually still screening her, and I didn't note. It doesn't tell me that. Interesting. It should, though. All right, so let's do that again. 1 second, Veronica. Here we go. I like the way you think. Veronica?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. I'm sorry about that. There was a little confusion. It was like, what? But I think I got it now. So it says you're in Chicago. Ooh, Lord. Oh, man. How cold is it?
Oh, man. I haven't even looked. It's not that bad. It's actually at 35. So.
Did you say not that bad and then follow that up with the words 35 as in degrees? Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
My daughter just said Celsius or Fahrenheit. That's all I'm going to say. We know it's all good. It's all good. All right. So what's going on? How can we help?
Okay. So this is a situation. I was wondering how a bad review from a previous listing will affect the new ones. The story goes that about a year and a half ago, we put our timeshare in Airbnb.
Okay.
Because we had this extra week there that we just wanted to sell it, right?
Okay.
So this person booked it. Everything went fine, but the review was very bad because he said that he was pretty much being bugged by all the salespeople that they invited him to. Like a presentation, and they keep bugging him like, hey, please come. So he was very upset about that. So he put that in the comments. And he also put something like the air conditioning wasn't working properly and stuff like that. So bottom line, the review was not positive at all.
Okay.
So I took down that listing. I never listed it again because that was it, right? So I didn't trust that timeshare anymore. So, but I'm wondering now that we're going to start with our own units. We don't have any yet, but we are in the process of looking and all that. So I'm wondering if I have to create like a brand new account with Ernesto's name, my husband, or it would be okay if I just keep mine as a host, or I don't know what your suggestion would be, or if it actually doesn't even affect or not. I don't know.
Got it. So let me make sure I understood this clearly. What I heard you saying is that you have an existing Airbnb account and you previously used a timeshare and that did not go well. The customer said so. Right. And what you're asking is, hey, we're about to start a new listing, our first listing, in fact, and we're wondering if we should start a new account, or how, if we don't start a new account, how does that previous bad review affect our new listing?
You got it.
That's
exactly right.
Start a new account.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know how it would, and I don't want you to find out. Simple as that. I mean, I think the only thing that you could possibly be trying to salvage is the age of the account that you currently are using. Okay, but that's not that big of a factor. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I wouldn't be overly stressed about that. So I would more encourage you to just start a new account, because whatever small gain or perceived gain that you may have gotten from the existing account is more than made up for by the fact that you're going to, I assume, get multiple units really quickly. You're going to always have listings in that new and noteworthy. That's podcast. Oh, goodness. Anyway, into the new section. So you're always going to have that there. So because of that, I wouldn't be concerned about it. In fact, let's say that for whatever reason you still wanted to use your existing account. What I would then do, the only thing that I would change is that I would quickly, and I mean quickly, get to about 3, maybe 4 units, because what I would want to do is to make sure that that bad review that would be technically on the profile, not even on that listing. Well, it actually depends. If you deactivate it, then it's probably gone. Anyway, what I would want to do is that I would do that because what would happen is that you would collect 10 new reviews so quickly, or relatively quickly, that they would begin to appear on page 2. And I know this is sad to say, but most people don't scroll past page 1 of the reviews. So you get those first 10 right and you're kind of good. And it's like it never happened.
That makes sense. So a question for you. So if I want to create a brand new account, can I still do that with my name? I mean, it's not going to, like, the system is going to say, oh, you have already one. Should I use a different email address? Or
I would definitely use a different email address anyway, because you have no idea the volume of email that's coming your way.
Okay.
I promise you. There are, girlfriend, there's so much email coming your way. It's not even funny. Okay. You will learn the filter system really fast. If you ever want to find any email about anything ever again, and I wish you could it's just an insane amount of email. So I would use a different email address anyway for that reason alone, because it's just going to be overwhelming. But yeah, there's no blowback that I would be concerned about.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, no problem. That's what we do.
Thank you so much, Jay.
Yeah. I like doing it. It's fun. All right, let's see what else we've got in either the Facebook group or online. And let's see. It's all good. See, okay. That's funny. Megan says it's a refreshing 39 degrees. She's in Michigan, Detroit, Fahrenheit, by the way. Woo! Yeah, right? I know, right? I know, man. I don't understand. And they do it voluntarily. That's the fun part that I think is interesting. All right, let's see what other questions we've got. Well, it's definitely cold enough. It's definitely cold enough for snow. Definitely. But I don't know if there is any snow. So it's basically like... Yeah, the movie Frozen? Yep. That's where they live. Right. Okay, let's see. I'm scrolling and I'm looking for questions. All right, cool. And they're saying you'd love it, but I know she would not. Anyway, for those of you who might want to call in, feel free to dial 417-344-2274. For those of you who are here maybe for the first time, hi, my name is Jay, CEO of CashFlowDiary. And what we do at CashFlowDiary, honestly, what we've done for quite a while, is we just document what I do. In this particular case, we're talking about short-term rentals as it relates to you getting involved in more and bigger and better and higher quality real estate. And on Tuesdays, we like to go live, answer questions when we can to make sure that none of our students are ever stuck. We currently have students in 16 different countries across many different time zones, which has afforded us an opportunity to understand how to get this thing done. Although I don't speak many of the languages that our students do, we are able to work in almost every situation and figure out a way to help people get this thing started. We've even got students in some of the most litigious areas like New York, for sure. And it's just, anyway, it's a fun business model. If you've got a question about real estate and business and something of that nature, feel free to give us a call at 417-344-2274 or type in the chat. And we will go from there. Let's see. Okay, so now we're getting comments about my shirt, which, barium, cobalt.
They need to see it.
What? They can't see it. Oh, you want to? Yes.
They need to see the fully thing.
Yeah, I know, right? I think it's great, personally. It's like awesome. It's the best shirt ever. I'm like, come on, man. How can you not love bacon?
Oh, you have bacon in your salad
Yes, of course. I have bacon and everything. All right. So Eric is asking, if a listing is shut down on your profile, does the review still affect your profile, the other listings you have? Okay, it depends on the definition of how it's shut down. There's hidden, there's unlisted, there's deactivated. Really long story short, if you go to deactivated, then yes, that all the whatever you had on it is gone. If you do any of the others, either the star rating can also still be there, which will affect you, and or the actual reviews for that particular listing are there. In fact, if you go look at some profiles, you'll see where they no longer make reference to the actual listing that the person stayed in, and that's fine, but that happens. So it also depends on the platform as well, but I'm assuming I'm just making the assumption, Eric, that you're referring to Airbnb at this particular moment in time. So, yeah. Let's see. Let's see. What is this? Oh, okay. I'm being told that Michigan is not Arendelle. You know what I meant, people. You know what I meant. It's cold, okay? Don't even go there. It's cold. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm not, Anyway, moving on. Let me look in the Facebook group. Otherwise, I think we'll be done for today. Let me see. Whoops. Yeah. All right, cool. So, I didn't check the call line. If I don't do that and hang up on somebody, that would just be bad. All right. I'm not seeing anything there. So perfect. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Megan is going last call, literally 417-344-2274. Hopefully I see you before I hit these next couple of buttons. What is this? It says, if you have multiple listings, what website or platform do you recommend using? I'm trying to actually, Wally, I'm actually trying to understand the question, because here's why this is like, I feel like there's more information or something else that I need to hear or know. Here's what I mean by that. The platforms that you use should be relative to the customer you're trying to attract. And also, when you're first getting started, I typically recommend everyone starts on Airbnb, mostly because they have the best system that I call training wheels. So because they have such good training wheels, it's really, really easy for people to get started. And then as you go to other platforms, the training wheels tend to come off in little pieces, which can help you understand how your business needs to grow and to mature. And the fact that you have multiple listings is kind of irrelevant relative to the platform. So I don't know if there's a different constraint that you want to work within, but if you have multiple, whether you have 1 or 10 or 20, that's not overwhelmingly a deciding factor as to which platform you should be on, I guess is the best way of saying that. It is definitely a deciding factor in what tools you're using to manage that whole thing. It's definitely how it matters on your pricing. There are other things that matter when it comes to multiple listings. But if I'm not understanding your question correctly, though, just re-ask it. Use different words, please. And I'll do my best. Let's see. What does it say? I'm operating in a market with tons of amateurs, as are we all. Robin, preach. All right. Anyway, no one has dynamic pricing, right? Like how? Like, okay, help me understand. Like, how are you, like, really? What is the problem here? Do you not want to get paid for the service that you are delivering to the marketplace? Moving on. I'm trying not to. I'm gonna try not to get on yet another soapbox, but you get where I'm coming from. All right. So what else? No one has dynamic pricing, realistic cleaning fees, or realistic nightly rates. Have you ever come across this? Yes, Robin. Everyone is dealing with this. Everyone. Here's what I mean by that. I say that because here's what is happening. You have a significant number of amateurs because the barrier to entry is so low, period. And here's what happens is that your part-timers are lumped in with all of the rest of us who are trying to, who are running a professional operation. So everybody. So the person who is just doing this on the weekends and trying it out for the first time and doesn't really understand that there should be a premium for Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, and any other special days, they just go, hey, it's extra money. Cool. Wonderful. And to the guest, hey, well, they're doing it for this price. And they think, and I'm like, So this is where the concepts inside of NPP are absolutely necessary, because you need to know how well you can, or if you even should try to compete. You should know. And sometimes the answer is great. I'm glad I have said, and I have instructed our teams to say things like I can remember an instance when the individual was like, yeah, but it was either the Red Roof Inn or the Motel 6 or something like that was down the street, and this is the preferred rate I get from them. And we will gladly respond with, well, we have come to learn that our guests appreciate the level of service and the quality of locations that we've been able to provide. And we also understand that if the Red Roof Inn or can provide what it is that you're looking for at a price that you're willing to pay, we hope you have a great time during your stay here in Orange County at the Red Roof Inn. You know, I have no problem letting people know that we are a different experience, and there's a point at which it's like, no further. It does not become worth it. But you don't know what that is until you've run all the numbers and anyway. There's a way to get to that. So yes, everyone runs across it. In fact, the other people who are running across it right now are all the people who are watching and or listening who have considered getting involved in short-term rentals. And what they try to do is they go on any of the platforms and they just start typing in randomly, and they see the published rate and they think that's actually what people are renting them for. And they end up making an error in their judgment and decision, because it's really hard. Well, not hard. It's impossible to do it that way and actually get an accurate number. Robin, it's part of the business. It's going to happen. Do your best to start earning repeat business so that it happens to you less and less. And because ultimately you want to be independent, listing site independent. You don't want to be dependent on the marketplaces forever, and only for a small percentage of your business over time. So that's the way the cookie crumbles. We're all dealing with it. All right. Wow. A whole bunch of questions came in. As soon as I the moment I'm like, okay, I guess we're done. It's like nothing but questions came from everywhere. All right. So Chris says, Vivint Smart Lock codes. How do you handle changing codes between guests? Oh, good question. So first of all, Chris, our staff changes codes at 11 o'clock. So that's number one. Well, the 11 o'clock is also our departure time. So by 11:01, the code that the previous guest was using is changed. Then the new code is not given to the new or arriving guest until sometime between 3 and 4 p.m. So anytime between 3 and 4 p.m., the new code is then therefore activated. That is our simple plan process. That's how we do it. So, and yes, we have a board and a checklist and all this other stuff so that we know who did what and when, and if it was or wasn't done. Because there's no other way to do it when you scale and you've got multiple people in charge of distributing information. See, Eric. Yep, I was referring to Airbnb. I've got a property where there was a string of bad reviews that weren't accurate, but
can't be fought. I'm considering options right now. Yeah, Eric, in those situations, I'm not gonna lie. There have been times where we've just shut down the listing and recreated it because, that's kind of how it needed to be. Because sometimes you just start, everything just falls apart and goes wrong. Like, why this listing? I I feel you. And you just had everything. The install goes wrong, and then the smoke detector keeps going off, and you're just like, why did that? And then the install guy, you tell him the install guy is going to come and fix it, and then it doesn't happen, and you're like, really? Seriously? You're just like, all of these things just compound to a bad experience. You're like, I cannot let that be the first review. That's just not gonna go well. So I'm with you, my friend. Totally understood. Let me see, Kendra. Oh wow, they are coming fast and furious now. Let's see what we got. How do you address an inquiry guest when they do not have a profile picture? There's a government ID verified. Best way for polite to complete their profile. You can always ask them, but recently, so Kendra, if I remember correctly, you're out in Hawaii, which is awesome, by the way. And one of the things that many of the platforms have been dealing with in various forms is discrimination based upon things that people shouldn't discriminate by. And to help combat this, I believe, maybe it was 6 months ago, Airbnb started blocking us from being able to see the profile picture until after confirmation. So they may actually have a profile picture. You just can't see it. Now, what you can find out is if they have a profile picture, but you won't be able to see it. So hopefully that makes sense. And that's the way that Airbnb specifically has chosen to handle and address that. One of the many things that they've implemented to help address the issue. So hopefully that makes some sense to you. Wally, what does it say? I have 3 listings on Airbnb. Was thinking of using a program website to grow and to use for BR HomeAway, etc. Yeah, totally understood. And yes, I'm encouraging you. You should absolutely get on multiple platforms. However, Wally, one of the things I'm going to say first is, and don't take this the wrong way, you have 3 listings. The amount to get true ROI from systems and all this other stuff that can be built, I would want to have a lot more listings than 3. And I don't mean to, I'm not trying to belittle anything. I'm just saying, congratulations, you've got 3. And I'm looking at the ROI on the amount of time that's invested, the time in maintaining, the time in building out all the things that you need. That's not to say there won't be some benefit, but the benefit obviously increases the more listings you have. I think if I was at 3, I would focus more on getting more listings first, for sure. That's just what I would do. That's what I did. Period. That's what I did. Is that Moon Doggy? You guys come up with some great names. I have a question. I would like to get started. Is there a way I can get the knowledge that you have on the knowledge that I have on lying, or will I need to attend the summit I see on your website? There is no, well, we actually don't put the summit. The summit is not on the website. I'm not sure if like typo or whatnot. Anyway, and if you're trying to get started, the easiest way to go is to cashflowdiary.com / what is it? Star? Thank you. cashflowdiary.com / star. It's a team event over here in order to keep it straight. How do you feel? Oh, sorry, I forgot to put that on the screen. How do I feel about owner finance for short-term rentals? Have you done this or do you recommend it? Got it. Stuart, I'm assuming what you're talking about is purchasing the property, because that would be, I'm assuming that's the assumption I'm making. I don't know if that's wrong then or different than what you intended. Let me know. I don't mind. I mean, there's nothing wrong with owner financing a short-term rental, except just understand that typically you are giving up speed
of being able to, you're giving up typically a higher cash return because a lot of your resources can go into the ownership of said property. So there's nothing wrong with it. It's just slower. And if you're okay with that, then that's fine. But I wouldn't be okay with that until you had enough units that were operating smoothly so that they were able to continuously produce enough money and cash flow to go out there and make down payments happen over and over again. So, oh my goodness, you guys suddenly have a lot of questions. All right, I'm getting through them and then we'll be done. So make it happen now. Nope, I already got that. Catrice. What is this? David Harrison. Since you mentioned email volume earlier, do you have pointers for how to get set up to manage it all? Google filters are gonna be your friend. That's all that's the best I can. That's the best I got. Just understand they send you so many messages, and this is one of the reasons we put PMS, property management systems, in between the platform and your actual email box to help categorize that stuff, because there's just too much communication to try to keep it straight per listing, per reservation, per platform. It's like, oh, and heaven forbid should you have a case, and then you've got now per claim to follow up on as well. So all those things it becomes an overwhelming amount of communication. So that's honestly, communication is one of those things that will crush you if you don't do it right. And that's why we use tools like a smart B&B. And again, it's just not, you can never have just a tool. You have to understand how to use expert tools expertly. Wow. What is this? Thanks, Jay. I've already implemented just playing the waiting game in low season with new listings and new to the business. Yes. So, Robin, when you're starting a new listing in low season, that is generally what happens. All of the ones with reviews are going to get booked first, cause it's low season. Demand is nowhere near as high. However, come high season, you will have more reviews than the new listings that start then, which means you'll end up you make up for it on the other side. So just keep that in mind. Hang in there. I'm in the process of putting 4 more together in Irvine. I understand. What is this? Juan? When should you jump to other platforms besides Airbnb? Typically, when your customer is on those other platforms. So say, for example, that your customer, you chose the customer type where they had mobility challenges. They use wheelchairs, canes, walkers, etc. There is a platform out there that caters just to them. So if your customer is there, then yeah, you should be there yesterday. And I wouldn't concern myself with scaling until I had systems in place to handle, I would say, somewhere in the neighborhood of 7 to 10 units, because there's just so many things that get doubled up upon in terms of communication and pricing and keeping all of it together, calendar syncing and management, that become challenging. Bookkeeping becomes more challenging, and making sure you're getting paid properly on everything. All of that stuff becomes more challenging. And you said you just have 2 units at a moment. 2 is a good start. Keep going. Is it reasonable? I love it when they start that way. Is it reasonable to state after watching one of your recent webinar trainings that using your system for each arbitrage unit, you can expect to earn $1,000 per month per bedroom? I would say $800 per month per bedroom. And again, that's averaged, Sandra, over the course of an entire year. So what does that mean? That means in some places you're going to have these violent ups and swings. So during part of the year, it's going to be very, very low. And part of the year, it's going to more than make up for it. So that it averages over the course of a year, that $800. So yes, per bedroom. Wally says, thank you. Awesome. He probably meant online. Yeah, thank you, Susan. I was still confused by that, but yes, cashflowdiary.com/star. Whoever typed for that, was that you? Did you type that? Oh, thank you. Well, it says Cashflow Diary with Jay Massey. It doesn't say Poppy Massey. You're typing it. I don't know how I did. Okay, never mind. Mark Thompson, new to the show. That makes all of us. Appreciate the content. I have a question regarding activating apartments using activating. That's an interesting phrase. Activating apartments using rental arbitrage during the slow season in a cold climate. I currently operate 5 in Hawaii, and I'm looking at launching short-term rentals out of state in a major metropolitan area. Got it. So, Mark, I don't know if new to the show also means new to CashFlow Diary, if you're a student or not, or if we've had all of our students, when they are a mastermind student, we have a 6-hour training that everybody starts with, and we address this. I'll give you a brief snippet so that I can answer your question here. I am now of the following opinion. Whether you start during high or low season completely doesn't matter. There's pluses and minuses to both. And I was hinting at it a second ago when I was talking to Robin, because here's what happens. If you start during low season, yes, those first few months, it's not going to feel so great. And it's going to be very low. However, the few reviews you collect help you in high season to earn more money than the new listings you would have had with no reviews. So all things being equal, if you start in low season, and then you start a new listing, a second listing, say in high season, the existing listing with reviews should earn more money, assuming that the reviews went well and you didn't like run it into the ground or something. You should earn more money during that high season than you would during the brand new listing that has no reviews. And the converse is also true. If you start during high season, you're starting to collect reviews, which means that during the low season, the existing listing won't drop or go as low or need to go as low as the brand new one that you just brought online during low season, again, because of the reviews. So whether high or low, that first 12 months, it's just going to be what it's going to be. The real question is, like right now, one of the reasons, you're going to love this one. One of the reasons to actually start right now is because over the next, 43 days or so until the end of the year, retail goes on sale, period. So everything like blenders, TVs, wall mounts, everything goes on sale. In fact, this has actually already started. I mean, I think last weekend or 2 weekends ago, I believe it was Best Buy had a pre-Black Friday sale. Also code for we ordered way too many TVs and we need to get these things out of here before more TVs come in here before Black Friday. Either way, whatever it is, they started reducing their pricing on the TCL Roku Series 4. Yeah, Series 4 televisions that we tend to recommend. And I was like, oh, look at that. So, yeah, it's already kind of started in pockets and things here and there. There's got to be a mattress sale going on somewhere because, hey, this can be one of those times. I also like Amazon Prime Day for that same reason. Like I'll buy more blenders than I actually need at that moment because, hey, I'm going to need a blender, but it's things like that to consider. But and you can only do that if you know that, hey, I'm going to have X number of units, so I might as well. That's kind of what I'm saying. All right. Let's see. Let's see. When you're ready to start building business in a new city, what are the key systems you set up beforehand to be successful? Ooh. Janae, sorry. All of them is the answer, because here's the thing. There isn't like the real question isn't what do you need to do before you set up in a new city? It's when you set up in a new city, what's the minimum number of units you want to start with? So for example, meaning if you start with 1, it's going to be really, really hard. But if you start with say 5 or 10, then it's a completely different situation, and you end up duplicating what you've already got. That's typically, so when I've gone to a new location, that's how I've done it. It is easier. Like when we went to Long Beach, we went with 8. We went to LA, we went with 5, and then the following month we added like 4 or 5 more. So effectively 10. I don't like to you. It's hard to just, I'll just get one over that's don't do that. And then if you're starting that way, then it's easy. You're duplicating everything that you're already doing, and you have enough work to command a vendor's attention, I guess is the best way that I would say that. Woo. All right. We got Asher, I believe is the name. I live in New York City. Awesome. The registration is yes. Okay. If you're in New York City proper, yes. It is very tricked. Interesting. And the price is very high. Yes. Do you have any suggestions on where to start short-term rental business near New York City? Well, one, typically I would default to New Jersey. Okay. For sure. And then I will also say this. If I was working in New York City, I would be primarily focused on, I believe it's either duplexes, triplexes, or quads that have specifically, in a perfect world, you're going to find a duplex, triplex, or a quad where the owner is resident in one of those 4 units. You can find that situation. That's what I would like. Anyway, the last time I was where one of our students was in New York City, that was the general direction we needed to help him to go in order to deal with all of the labor unions and hotel unions and everything else that's gotten into New York City and made it really, really tough. So Asher, hopefully that helps. And again, if you want more or you want to understand more about our system, just go to cashflowdiary.com/star, STAR. We'll gladly teach you, show you, etc. So, look at this. My friend Rob Lett, he says, awesome job you're doing. Thank you. I haven't forgotten. I appreciate that, Rob. Just looks like I'll probably self-fund my first one. My last post you saw gives you an idea how. Okay, awesome. This is good. Yes, and Rob, to you, this is one of the reasons I have grown to love this business model even more, is because self-funding is a real thing. It's not optional. I mean, you can do it. It can actually be done. You don't need outside capital. You can get it, but you don't need it. And there's a difference. All right. We'll be winding this down shortly. Also, thank you for the show. You're welcome. What is this? From your lender's perspective, since you don't typically own the units, what is it that makes them feel secure since they can't place a lien? Well, technically, Rob, they can do a UCC filing. So technically, there is a way to make that happen. Like when we've dealt with a commercial bank, this is what they needed and wanted in order to make everything work, which is okay, fine. But outside of that, there isn't much more to give them. There is, I mean, you can have the collateral, but it's, used furniture, etc. They need to understand this going in. This is the business model. This is how it works. However, I will also say this, Rob, if you haven't already, on CashFlow Diary podcast, if you go to CashFlowDiary.com, and I think it's episode 556. Nope, it's not 556. Give me a second. I'm going to find which episode it is, because if you listen to this is another way to work with outside capital. 548. There it is. So Cashflow Diary podcast, episode 548. I'll show you right here. It looks like this. This will also assist you. So you can go to the website, or for those of you who are podcast people, you have your apps that you want to listen to this. This will also give you a different way of being able to accomplish that exact same thing, my friend. So hopefully that helps. Ladies and gentlemen, that is what I am going to call as time for today, because we have answered all of your questions. We've done our best to make sure that you have received the information that is actionable, that is easy for you to implement, and hopefully keeps you moving forward, because that's the goal. If you want to find out more about who we are, what we do, go to CashFlowDiary.com. If you want to listen between now and then, go to CashFlow Diary Podcast.com. And for those of you who go, you know what, I absolutely love this business model, you want to go to CashFlowDiary.com/star. Either way it goes. I certainly hope that you go out there and you do something, because I saw a post, I think it was earlier today, where it said something to the effect of, money comes back, but time does not. It's kind of simple. Go do something. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been fun talking to you guys today. I look forward to talking to you soon. Until next time.